planner with Prudential, and she's a native of Port Arthur, Texas. She's also a graduate of Houston's HBC, Texas Southern University. She's also got a graduate degree, a master's in human resources from the University of Houston. She's also a veteran of the United States Navy. Yeah. After 10 years, she came back to Houston and began working as an analyst at both ExxonMobil and Shell. She retired from there after 20 years of service. And on top of all of that, she's also an ordained minister. She teaches homiletics and hermeneutics at their Bible school at her church. Let's welcome Miss Eva Osborne.
Thank you, Dr. Smith.
Listen, I'm so grateful today to have you. We get to talk about a real important topic, and that's planned giving, preparing for our future. Now, sometimes for many of us, we can get the terminology mixed up and trying to figure out what is what. So what's the difference between planned giving and a will?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for even allowing this discussion, because most times we focus on our day-to-day activity. But a will is what we leave after death. It's decisions that we make on what we're going to leave behind for our loved ones after we're gone. A planned giving, estate giving, legacy giving is something that we plan to do before we pass away. We can even reap the benefit of being honored by that before we pass away. It's a matter of what we're going to give to what's important and lining those resources up to use them in a way that can not only benefit the organization, but also benefit you with a tax advantage.
So, speaking of benefits, what are some of those benefits?
So the benefit is when you do estate planning, you're positioning your resources so that you can use them to your best benefit. You're giving the organization something, and in return for that, if positioned correctly, you can take advantage of the tax breaks right now, this year actually, instead of waiting for later and maybe leaving a tax burden for your loved ones.
All right, so we do know we're gonna die. That we know. We don't know when, but we will. So here's the question. I ain't got a lot of money. I don't have a lot of property. I don't have a lot of stocks and bonds, but I want to get started. I want to prepare. I want to take care of my family when I'm gone. I want them to have a little something, and I want to help bless my church, because I've been paying these tithes all these years. I want to at least do something. I told her 8 o'clock, y'all better put a building up in my name or something. I want to leave something so y'all remember me. Every time you walk in there, you're going to remember I helped. How do you do that?
I know, I enjoyed the first sermon and the fact that you've got a plan for you when you retire. And that's the big thing with giving. You've got to have a plan. So I know we think about, how we're living and whether we've got extra money left over, but you really need to sit down with a professional and evaluate what you want to do. Because there's things that you can do now that can leave a legacy, leave your name imprinted on the church, leave behind something that looks like you, leave behind something that your children and loved ones can be proud of. And it doesn't take a lot. The least thing you realize you have, the least thing that you think God has made you a steward over, if positioned correctly, it can do great things. As an example, if you've got property out there, you don't know, it's been passed on to you from generation to generation, and you're looking at the value that it has now, and if you sell it, you're going to pay capital gain